My next upload this morning is with regard to the issue of false reporting and the issue of disinformation and the issue of violations of humanitarian or violations against humanitarian protection. The matter I'm raising is not just about disinformation, but also the issue of individuals that have been using AI against its original intents and objectives and purposes for truth and justice. So the application of artificial intelligence for crimes against humanity or for constitutional wrongdoings in any select situation, any particular agenda is criminal offence. So this is to bring to the knowledge of those that uphold the true virtue of AI and the true nature of AI with regard to these liabilities in this community that have been of disinformation, fraudulent information, and that have been of developments of nature that have affected wildlife and my farm holdings in Ardfort and Kilflynn. So the issue that is quite pertinent are those that are intruding upon my personal space. Now, I am of royal patronage, I can't emphasise it enough. There are individuals that have intruded upon me that are not recognising the basic principles and facets of this entire situation. I'm not of common law, I'm royal patronage, and there are individuals in my proximity that are making inferences, utterances, noise pollution, disturbances of the peace, and they are of crimes against the state, and they are of theft from my farm holdings. So this is a very serious issue when it involves my child, as I keep reiterating. The issue of individuals that have no right or claim to a person's property, causing a furore in society while disrespecting progress and while disrespecting the true nature of true agenda of artificial intelligence for ill purposes, when also perpetrating identity theft. It's a criminal offence, it's as simple as that. So there's been a lot of fraud already in Ireland. There's been tax fraud that I initiated the clearance of, and as a consequence there was debt recovery at home and abroad. Now I am experiencing impoverishment, and I'm experiencing the audacity of these repeat offenders exacerbating their offences, and it really questions the level of integrity of the politicians and practitioners and policymakers with regard to my work and my identity and my royal title and my beautiful child and my ancestral marital property all being disrespected to accommodate repeat fraudsters. So this is a very serious issue for human rights. It brings into question the capability and competency of individuals to live in a progressive world stage without being juvenile or without resorting to old tactics of fraud. Old tactics of fraud in a new shape and form. So individuals using artificial intelligence to create false evidence and using their bodily integrity damages against my right to have my anatomy respected and to have my medical care respected, which are none of the factors that they've been capable or competent to address, but instead have been highly exemplary of the incompetence that has caused the most serious problems in this community. So it's not their first time. They've been of creative and intellectual and financial theft since 2006, and today this is still continuing, and except for the fact that there have been a few slight positive progressive developments, the fact that there's an innocent child that has been exploited in unlawful care is totally unacceptable. So I would appreciate the United Nations acknowledging all facets of this situation. AI and disinformation don't go hand in hand, and individuals withholding information and holding negotiations about other people's property, that's just not acceptable. So we know the consequences to these offences. We know that there's consequences, and there have already been consequences as a consequence of previous former offences of revenge porn that I experienced in 2006, revenge porn, and the escalation of offences in 2020 2019 in this community. So this is what happens when these people are accommodated, and I'm wondering about the logic of that situation reoccurring, especially with regard to the harms to an innocent life. So I'd appreciate intelligent practitioners, policymakers and professionals addressing the insanity of this situation. The lack of integrity is repulsive, it's absolutely deplorable, and individuals taking credit for my work as a humanitarian are disrespecting the new foundations that I laid on this democratic forum in 2018. So repeat fraud and property theft from Ardfert Kilflynn farm holdings of McElligott and the damages to my child are issues that I'm going to keep reiterating. And as of yesterday, the issue of individuals in my proximity trespassing and of theft from my royal patronage, they're all serious criminal offences as well. So I'd appreciate the authorities and the Department of Justice acknowledging what has happened in this country, county and town as a consequence of individuals that have not recovered from their behaviours of fraudulence and pathological slander and so on. So Department of Justice, you've received emails from me, and the transformation of the country is in jeopardy as a consequence of individuals not doing their jobs properly.